Hello and welcome to the St Andrews and All Saints online Advent calendar for 2020. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Dave Bruce. I'm the vicar, or to be more precise, the rector of St Andrews and All Saints churches here in Malvern. This year, as Christmas is going to be so different and more challenging than usual, and we're having to do things very differently as a church this Christmas, we've decided to put together this Advent calendar of hope. Each day from today until Christmas Eve, we're going to be sharing a story of hope in tough times from one of the members of our congregations here. And we hope that this will inspire and encourage you, particularly if you are finding the season really tough. We'll be sharing these stories on our church Facebook page, on our website and on our YouTube channel each day. So do join us and connect with us in whatever way is easiest for you, and join us in this Advent journey of hope throughout December. And I've got the privilege of sharing the first story on day one of our Advent calendar. And it's a story of my hope through dark times. It's almost 2 years to the day when I found myself signed off work for a month at the start of December 2018. I had to be quite honest, reached burnout and found myself overwhelmed with the stress and anxiety of the job and in a really dark place, and found myself just not able to function properly anymore. And after plucking up the courage to go and see my GP, I was advised to take time out to let my body and particularly my mind rest and heal. And I was offered help from our fantastic local mental health support teams. Whilst I was relieved that I had the burden of work lifted at that time, deep down I felt a real sense of failure. Failure that I felt I'd let everybody down, my family, my church, my community. Particularly as with Christmas services, December isn't really the best month for a vicar to have off. But I had to take time out. My body was telling me so, and I reluctantly accepted that I was not well. And that month was really hard, really hard. Hard for me and hard for my family. Some days it was just an achievement to get out of bed and have a walk. And I often thought, will I ever feel myself again? But I had great support from many people, from the health service, from the church, from friends, and particularly from family. And even though I didn't believe it at the time, people said to me, you will get through this. God will get you through this. At times I couldn't even pray, but a colleague of mine gave me a little wooden holding cross, which at those times when I was struggling most, I simply held in my hand. And that was my prayer, a wordless prayer, which said, God, I'm trying to hold on. Will you help me? And gradually I did get better. Gradually I did come out of that dark valley. And that reminds me of a psalm, a phrase from perhaps the most well-known of psalms in the Bible, Psalm 23. The psalm which begins, "The Lord is my shepherd," goes on to say, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. For you," that's God, "are with me. Your rod and staff, they comfort me." That was the promise that I held on to on those weeks. That as I walked that darkest valley, I was not alone, but that God, my God, was walking with me and sometimes completely carrying me. And 2 years on, as I reflect back each December, I see just what walking through that valley has ultimately meant to me. For I have come through that dark valley stronger and better because of how God has been at work in me through that tough time and in the months and years later. You know, I've learned to do life differently. I've learned to have a better work-life balance. I've learned to rest more and play more and exercise more. And I've also learned not to carry all the burdens from my job myself, but to hand them over to God in prayer and let him carry them for me. And it has made a real difference. I'm a better husband, a better dad, a better vicar for it. And yes, I'm still learning. I'm still a work in progress. But I wanted to say to you today, if you are going through a dark valley at the moment, if life is tough and feels hopeless for you too, like it did for me that 2 years ago in December, then please hear the message of hope. That in that dark valley you are not alone, but that your God, walks through this valley with you too. And that he wants to bring you light and transformation and comfort and peace. I want to encourage you too that if you would like to connect in with our services. We've got several services over Christmas. We've got a particular one on that we're going to release from December the 13th, which is called Light in the Darkness, which is particularly a service, Christmas service, for those who find Christmas difficult and particularly for those who have lost loved ones. All the details of our services are on our website. We'd love you to connect in with us. And we are here if we can support anyone and journey with you, with your God in these difficult days. So take care, God bless, connect in with the rest of the Advent calendar and stay safe.